All right, with a lot of moves being made, mega moves, you got Hill, you got Agba coming back, Armstead, on and on and on it goes. Chris Greer has been making major moves to put this team in position, this 2022 Dolphins team, to be in position to actually make hay, to go to the postseason, to be successful in the postseason and challenge for the first spot in the AFC East. But all the stuff is all going to boil down. You got Tua, and you got the awesome skills, and you got the defense, and the new coach, and yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. It's all going to come down to this offensive line. It's not flashy. It's not sexy the most, but maybe the offensive line is sexy. It's going to come down to the offensive line. And really two players. Howard, he's got to stay healthy, or we can't run the defense we want. And Armstead's got to stay healthy, or else his offensive line won't be good enough. But if all these factors are in play, then we're going to have to look at the rest of the offensive line, the depth of the offensive line. And however this plays out, this offensive line is going to determine everything. So I'm going to take a little time here. We want to get this out, a film study on Robert Jones, number 65 of the Dolphins. Was an intriguing prospect last year, played a little, and then got a start in week 17 when Davis was pulled for whatever reason. And a lot of viewers have been interested in this film. I'm a little behind, but here you go. I spent a lot of time digging into his film, got a really good film study, going to break it up into two parts. First part's going to be, which I'm going to get into right away, is dismissing the prospect of him playing tackle at this point in his career. I see he could possibly fill in, but that wouldn't be optimal. And I'm going to tell you why. I do think he can play and make this roster and be a contributor. We'll see if it's as a starter, but I'm right off the bat dismissing his potential as a tackle. And he's been labeled as a guard, and it is for good reason. So let's take a look at the film and see what we see. You can see number 65 is a big boy, huge lower body. Only Hunt kind of makes him look, not so huge, and he's bigger than Hunt. But he's got structural issues. Now watch his knees. He's knock-kneed, and he's got a duck walk. And this is going to restrict his agility and his ability to really plant and create power. Look at the right, you're looking at it, his right leg, how it just sticks out like that. That angle is not great structure. It's not career ending, but this does limit his ability. Okay, so here he is in pass protection. And you see he has a little bit of an awkward drop, and you can see he lets the defender get inside and gets driven back. And this is a tendency of his. He lets defenders get inside of him, and he doesn't have great drop. He took the step here. I don't know why, because Hunt's there. It was a little bad concept there on him, bad first step. But then he leans heavily, and look at the poor lean and base, and he just gets the rip and go. And if that wasn't a short pass, that would have been a sack. And this is something, again, you're going to see over and over. Gets out in space here, hands up on the shoulder pads, but it's a screen, so he's supposed to let him go. But you'll see this again. And look at the poor base that he has here. Player getting inside on his numbers and basically controlling him here. Watch this. Inside, got his hands inside. Look at his feet pointing north and south, his toes, instead of east and west. And that's, again, his bad structure. Very poor technique. Doesn't have great bend. And once you get inside his numbers, and here you go, the heavy lean, and then you get the little rip there, shoulder, and bad, again, the feet pointing, the toes pointing in opposite directions. And he just lets too much pressure. He's just not good in space because of his bad base. Look at a weird kick that he's got going here, the heavy lean, short pass, But this is not going to be sustainable a tackle. And again, nice come off of the switch on this little stunt there, I guess. The little delayed blitz. And but still, just not good enough, not fast enough, and got inside. He shouldn't have got inside. It was poor technique, and he got out late. Nice little, blast there, but no real drive to create a larger circle. Again, inside the lean, the one arm, the swipe. And if it wasn't such a short pass, that would have been trouble for the quarterback. Again, here, watch, a little pop, a little guy, much smaller than him, just drives him back because the base is weak. Weird kick again, but he gets his hands inside. He's so strong. You don't go through Robert Jones. That's his one major talent. He can really, if he gets his hands on you, works on his technique, he can be a force. But look, you see, he almost falls over here. And again, that's, it's not, but the agility there and the player gets inside, not good. All right, so you can see it's not a condemnation on Jones. It's just the reality that at this stage of his career, and I'd say likely for the entirety of his career, he's not going to be able to play tackle. Those knock knees and that bending into the knees and the calves coming out causes his toes. He has a very wide stance when he gets into his set, and his toes, they have a hard time pointing the same direction, and that creates a firm balance. The farther those toes point out, the less strength in your base you have, and there's a tendency to have a lack of agility for knock knees. And his hands, that could be improved as far as getting his hands inside and driving, not letting the defender get inside him. But I still think that his base is so highly compromised that tackle is really out of the question. Now, spot duty, maybe. And as time goes on, maybe. But you're going to have to really protect them with the game plan and set up kind of what they did in Week 17 versus the Patriots. But this is not an optimal setting. Now, I want to take a look at some more tape because I'm just talking about at tackle, which is very hard to do. It's very hard to play tackle. That's why so few people can really do it. A lot more guys can play guards, And so because of his base and agility issues, at this stage, I don't see him being a left guard. Although, because Tua is a lefty, and he could be. But basically, the guard blocking the blind side of the quarterback. So in our state, it would be right guard. In the rest of the league, for the most part, it would be left guard. But the pass blocking guard, I don't feel him comfortable. But maybe in the run blocking guard position. But now I want to take a look at the tape and see, right, in zone stretch is what we're going to be doing. It really demands the ability to move, set up, deliver power, get to one guy and get to the other with agility. And this is another concern I have. I feel like the Jones, by what we'll look at the tape, is just a better suit for a man blocking system or a zone blocking system. But let's take a look at the tape and see what we see. All right, here we go. He sets up. He's good at walling guys off. I mean, that's not really, he's so big, and if he gets just one hand inside the numbers, he can wall guys off. But you can see here he has trouble setting his base on the move, and that's critical in zone stretch. You see over here, but he likes to bear hug a lot, just like Eichenberg and Jackson. That can be corrected, but it's not always going to be corrected, and that's not going to fix all his problems. Again, you see here, he likes to dip the head, just can't get his hands there. The defender, Judon, gets off him, and that's not going to help, really, because he needs to have a strong set here. But he gets the hand inside, but still, he doesn't have a strong base, and players can get off him. But in his zone stretch, there's some problems, I think, with his movement skills delivering. You see here, he's a little awkward, his feet, and 58 gets off and gets down the line of scrimmage. And that's going to really hurt you in zone stretch. Again, he's got a little bit of a double here. I like how quick he gets off in small space, but he doesn't deliver the wood, and players get off him a lot. Double here, and he just gets devoured. For a big guy, that's not good. Again, we'll see the double. Gets inside, and he just doesn't hit with power. And your power doesn't come from how heavy you are or your arms. It comes from your base, that drive from the hips. Again, another double here, falls off, just doesn't have the agility to get down. stream and the linebacker gets off to make the play. This is not a good sign for zone stretch again. So you get a double. It's just a little bit off, and the hold, and he just doesn't hit with power, and he doesn't have great movement skills. All right, here again, he gets a pretty decent block here, but he should devour this guy as a safety. And he just gets the arms around and just still gets in on a tackle. This guy should be pancaked. But again, his movement skills are tough. Nice little swap there. I don't like that hit on him. He's good at walling guys off, but his run blocking is not good enough to offset his talents. See here, I mean, not bad, but just not a lot of drive. A double here, hands outside on the shoulder pads. Not really liking that. There's things you can grow in, though. Again, his movement skills are a little tentative, the hands outside. He's got a lot of work. I mean, he can make the hand movement up and get better in that way this year, but that base, I think, is going to compromise his overall potential. Again, defender gets his hands inside, kind of shuts that down. There's no way he outweighs him by 80 pounds. Again, the movement here, 93, a big boy, just got the hands outside, forget that, gets in on a tackle. You don't want that. This just really puts him down. Even if he stays on his roster, he's going to be a low end on the depth chart of the offensive line. Hands outside, defender gets hands inside. You know, he has power, but those shoulder pads on the outside move a lot, and you can't control. You see, you get inside where the pads are locked, and you got control. And the defender, more often than not, can get inside and control him, and he just can't do anything. And so he's got a lot to work on with his hands. On top of the base, again, you see here, he's good at walling guys off, but there's no drive. I keep saying it over and over again to show you it's not based on one clip. Not bad in here, but it's a little bit of a hold. Again, not bad at walling off. This is where he should excel. In goal line, short yardage situations. 53 is going to go after, and he's about 70 pounds heavier, and look, just gets stonewalled. And that's a troubling sign for a guy that big, and I think it all comes back down to his base and his poor structure. And I don't know if he can fix that. Gets there, look, he's just very tentative, hands outside, gets stopped that shouldn't be. A little disappointed in the tape that I saw. You know, he might be a little slow roller again outside. See, he's got to level that guy, open that up. He's got to be the can opener on that. That's critical in zone stretch. All right, so I like Robert Jones. I like him better in other systems that are more inside zone, man blocking. I think he's going to have a hard time in our zone stretch concepts. I think a lot, and he's a good athlete for a guy with that kind of structure, but I think it's going to be a very limiting factor, and it could take him a few years to really develop. And it's going to be critical that this offensive line continues to go, and depth is going to play a major part. I think he could make the roster as like that eighth, if they keep ninth guy, maybe seventh, but I'm not really comfortable with him at seventh. You know, it's a little disappointing. I think he'd been much better and able to grow better in that inside zone. So as we go through this offensive roster, I know some of you are big fans of his. He's a good guy. He's physical. He's trying hard, but he's got a lot of growth. Maybe if he gets those hands working better and he works on his settle technique, his ability to plant and drop his hips, maybe we could see him start to rise. But as the whole body of work goes, I'm a little concerned because we really need players on this offensive line. So I'm not really certain. I think he'll make the roster, but I'm not too excited for his contributions this year. It'll be interesting. We'll see if coaching can and hard work can change things, but definitely not as a tackle. Like him better as a run blocking guard, not the blind side blocking guard. Kid's got talent. And offensive line is notoriously difficult and slow for most offensive linemen to build into. It's very, very complicated. Love the kid, just not in love with his tape. So I hope you liked what you saw, and thank you for staying to the end. Please like, comment, subscribes and comments. Those help us with the Google overlords. And, our sponsors, Ace Per Head, loves that. But for me, comments mean the most. Still working through my health issues, and I'm going to get to comments that I haven't got to. Really appreciate them. Love those comments. Subscribes and likes are great too, and views as well. Without you and without Ace Per Head, I wouldn't be in business. And I really enjoyed it. I really, really, especially the Philm stuff. Hate all the drama talk. Or he said, she said, and Twitter said this, and we got to match up. All that stuff drives me nuts. I never liked soap operas, and I can't stand. I love this part. So I hope you enjoyed it. This is Curtis saying thank you. Catch you next time. Go Fins and be well. Bookies can earn hundreds to thousands of dollars from booking action with aceperhead.com.